Hey, peace, world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. I had to jump on and talk about, hey, you're a Block M fan, Michigan Wolverines fan. Hey, we gotta be happy where we can be happy. So this is a great development. Going to this Elite Eight under Coach Juwan Howard. Uh, couldn't ask for better, man. I almost did a video before the game. I was a little concerned about Florida State. I was a little concerned about their length. Thought maybe they had an advantage athletically. That never really played out. I know they had Barnes or whatever, the 6'9" point guard for Florida State, but they just had a ton of other problems besides in just trying to compete. I just couldn't believe it. Halftime score was 32-21. The final score, I had it up here in the 76 to 58, and it was just never close. Shout out to Brandon Johns Jr. I've tried to watch dude closely this year and see what he was about. He came out and had 8 points in the first half, scored the first bucket of the second half. I thought he had some great effort plays. He got to some loose balls, scored some, contributed on some assists. And basically, Michigan just ran away with it by scoring in the paint. At one point in time, when they were up 19, they were actually plus 22 in points in the paint. I thought the interior passing was excellent. They just did everything they wanted to do. I don't know what was going on with Florida State. The turnovers, they got out rebounded, they were out assisted. Only two guys over double digit scoring, and it was nearly a flawless game from Michigan. I thought we were gonna run into a problem when Dickinson picked up that early foul with the blocking that they called. I didn't kind of understand that, but hey. I couldn't have envisioned that game going better than that. I think, Shondy Brown came in and kind of put things away at that 5-minute mark. He hit the 3-pointer off of the pass from Brooks. That put him back up 65-46, and they just kind of never looked back. Florida State never really went into any kind of half-court press or trying to speed the game up whatsoever. Mike Smith was just dribbling the ball out, down low into the shot clock, just killing them with the clock. And with them not being able to knock down shots and close the gap, they just had no way to get back into it. Look at the box score really quickly. Like I said, it's amazing. Only 3 of 11 from behind the arc. That was what Michigan went. 3-pointers. That's how dominant they were inside the paint. You only needed to hit 3-pointers in a modern day college basketball game. Quick note on that: as far as we are into the Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, Trae Young, Kevin Durant, Harden, all these great shooters in the NBA, and the heavy reliance on the 3-point shot in the NBA, as far as we are into this era of basketball, it's kind of amazing that we don't really have a whole lot of guys who can just flat out go off in college basketball. I mean, you can damn near allow a lot of these teams to just sit and shoot. Maybe not Gonzaga and a couple of them, but you can allow a lot of these teams to just shoot, and you just don't have a lot of great shooting in the game. That's just weird to me. Like, it's a heavy reliance on passing in the NFL for several years now. You got a lot of damn wide receivers who make great catches. Route running, all of that type of stuff it's at an all time. I mean, it's guys on a lot of teams that are good receivers. But here in basketball, it's not a lot of guys in this game who can take over games and knock down a lot of threes to really change a game the way that we saw Steph Curry do when he was at Davidson for that 1 year, or Jimmer Fredette or Ferret, whatever his name was. But shout out to Michigan and Coach Howard. Again, if you don't have to rely on the 3-point basket, if you can play good defense, they out rebounded them. Only 7+7 on total rebounds. +8 on assists, 18-10. The turnover game, they had double the turnovers. Florida State had 14. Michigan only had 7. Personal fouls, 22-10, with the Wolverines only having 10. And that, another note, we get to talking about black head coaches. Leonard Hamilton. At the end of the day, man, I don't really care nothing about all of this representation of coaches and more black coach, blah yada. At the end of the day, you got to be able to win. They mentioned earlier in the show that it's only it took 7 years for Leonard Hamilton at Florida State to get to the tournament. And that's basically, though, when you get to the Sweet 16, because it's another cat on YouTube right now. Check out some of his videos. I can't remember what the name of his channel is, but he was talking about a lot of the leading coaches, and it was like Calipari, Izzo, maybe he had Coach K on there. It was a couple of big time coaches on there, and this kid was basically saying, he's a younger dude, but he was saying all of these coaches were overrated. And he had a video about Coach Izzo of Michigan State being overrated. Not one of my favorite coaches, to be honest. I think he had a video on Boeheim. But with Coach Izzo, he said that Coach Izzo had been to the Final Four, I think, 8 times in 24 years. I'm like, how in the hell can you be overrated if you've been to the Final Four a third of your career? And that it's challenging to win. It's probably not a more difficult event or championship to pursue than to win March Madness. I mean, you got to look at my man out in Kansas, Self. I mean, he's had some great teams, some great guard play, big men, all of that. Coach Self is not killing it in terms of national titles. I mean, Coach K is not killing. I mean, it's just college basketball is weird like that. Nobody in college basketball has been able to do what Dabo Swinney and Saban has, on the football side, and just you can mark those guys in making the national championship game. It just doesn't work out like that in basketball. And I'll be honest, man, watching the game today, pretty solid game by Mike Smith, the point guard for Michigan. But it's kind of difficult to sit and watch today's point guards, especially with Xavier Simpson being there last year. It's difficult to watch point guard play, especially in comparison to the NBA, and your point guard cannot dominate the game and take the game over. They score here and there. They mainly facilitate the offense. But for me, coming up watching college basketball in the late 80s and the 90s, I mean, and when you're looking at guard play like Iverson, my man from Georgia Tech, Anderson, and I know these are all-time great point guards. The one kid from New York, my memory is bad as hell, but damn, Marbury. You talk about Marbury, you talk about dude that changed his name, Abdul Rauf or whatever, Chris Jackson at LSU. You look at some of these dudes in college, that was point guard stuff. I mean, that was point guard play. This stuff nowadays was slow the ball down and run the clock out, run the play. pick and roll, dribble the ball, the air out of the ball, all of that type of stuff. I'm coming up watching dudes that could just dominate games. And we just don't have that anymore. And so it's kind of, it makes the coaching all that more important though. And watching what Juwan Howard, exactly, Wake Forest, even before him, what's up, Corey Evans? Even before Chris Paul, when they had my man, the light-skinned brother with the had the little, he crossed my man over and then told him to get up. He had a like a something with the C. I can't think of his name for nothing. If I don't take notes, I can't freestyle on all of this stuff. But yeah, back in the day, it just seemed like the point guards were so much more effective and score so much better. And now you got to look, man, they don't pull these guys. A lot of these guards play 35, 36, 37 minutes. A lot of them rarely come out of the game. And you don't see the up and down play that we used to see with Greg Anthony and back at UNLV, the teams that we saw in Arkansas. It's not a lot of full court pressing. They just don't play like they used to. I'm in Dayton, Ohio, and the point guard that they have, I can't even think of his name. Maybe I need to get off here. I'm just Crutcher. Crutcher plays the whole damn game. And that's just what they do now. These guys don't come off the court, and so you can't get them into the up and down play and risk having to sit a dude down and stuff like that. But other than that, let's get back to this game right here. Davis was another big contributor for Michigan. He had the back-to-back post scores. Like I said, the interior paint scoring. I mean, if you can get that as a head coach, if you can sit there and at any point in the game, especially into the second half, if your team is plus 22 and scoring in the paint, like Shaq says, that's barbecue chicken. Let me look at the one other thing at the box score really quickly. So Mike Smith only finished with 8. Eli Brooks only finished with 6. 4 and 3 assists for those guys. Brandon Johns, probably a career high, finishing with 14, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Franz Wagner finished with 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 13 points. That's a hell of a game for a college kid. Hunter Dickinson, 14 points, 8 rebounds. Very, like I said, balanced scoring, great interior passing, high percentage, shooting from the field. Austin Davis, he had 6 points, but 2 of them came in crucial moments, I think, right when Florida State might have been trying to go on a run and close the gap. Probably an efficient 12 points from Shondi Brown. Can't say enough about that guy. Kind of reminds me of just his look. Kind of reminds me of Michael Finley just a little bit. Definitely not the same kind of game, but to get an experienced guy like that with him coming up through the transfer portal and whatnot, we'll see. Like I said, I expected this game to be a lot. Randolph Childress. I could not think of Childress' name for nothing. Thank you. Yeah, Randolph Childress. Like I said, guard play was just so different back in the day. And like I said, I'm only saying that because of now the guard play in the NBA, the shooting, the 3-point shooting and whatnot, to focus on that. These guys, they actually tracking now, 3-point shots beyond 27 feet. It's all 3 points. But kind of getting into the conversation of really considering adding a 4-point, a 4-point line or something. I don't know where you are with that. I wouldn't hate it, to be honest with you. I don't see it changing the game the way that the 3-point shot has changed the game and kind of eliminated the long 2-point field goal. I don't see the risk reward isn't going to be there to shoot a 4-point basket. If if it's 27 feet out, 25 feet out, that's just not gonna happen. But I do think in certain situations it would be interesting. I'm sure there'll be some reluctance and resistance to go that route because of how it could impact the scoring or all-time scoring or something. I don't know, but DT in the house. Yeah, man. D-Train said, congratulations, Wood. Your Wolverines look great and can absolutely beat the Zags. I want to see it. I want to see it. I thought this was a big game. We'll have to see whether Livers makes it back. I really haven't heard too many updates on him. And to be honest, I saw Livers went for 20, maybe 5 times in the regular season. I think 3 times during the Big Ten conference portion of the schedule. But that's the thing, man. Everybody, it's just really well-balanced scoring. Everybody, they share the ball, they run the offense, and good passing. Like I said, I'm just not used to this. I was watching college basketball when Allen Houston, Junior Burroughs, Jim Jackson at Ohio State, a lot of different dudes, man, just dominated games. Went on stretches, 6 and 8 minute stretches where they just dominated games. And we just don't see that right now. And I understand this is a weird season anyway, where like I said, I hadn't even seen the Zags play until today. That was the first time I really sat and watched those guys, because I don't know where I don't know where when these games are scheduled. Guys, teams were out because of COVID. It's just hard to keep track of everything. So shout out to Juwan Howard. Like I said, excellent job, man. Can't believe week to week we were learning what this team was and what they weren't. And now here at the end, they're still standing. So I think that's dope. Before I get on off of here, man, quick note. It's just it's crazy. I was trying to find this UCLA Alabama game. Interesting to see Alabama in the Sweet 16, on the basketball side. But shout out to Deion Sanders, man. I'm cycling through the channels, surfing through the channels, trying to find the game, and they actually have Jackson State on ESPNU. And I really don't think Prime is getting the credit that he deserves for what he's doing there and kind of what the impact of him being there could be. I've heard so much about Jackson State in the last month and a half or two that wouldn't be happening otherwise. Even with looking at Juwan Howard getting involved and being a coach, again, some of these brothers that benefit from so much, from playing professional sports, not to see more of these guys coming back and being head coaches for a variety of reasons. For a variety of reasons. But I don't think it's really catching on just yet. I mean, you got to win. You got to get some kids, some 5-star, some 4-star kids to come there. You got to start becoming a major story. Kids got to start getting drafted from there and whatnot, all of that type of stuff. But just watching what's going on Prime's Instagram account, seeing them on TV now, I just think that's dope for the HBCUs, and more people should get involved. More former athletes should get involved and help create some change there, and let that be an option for for kids that are coming out of high school and to go play under some of these guys who did it professionally and did it and were some of the greats of all time. I think that's just admirable work. And I think it's a chance for some of those universities to benefit from any kind of revenues or additional revenues that would come in from all of the extra attention and notoriety of the program. So I think that's phenomenal what what Prime Time is doing. And I just like what he's doing with mentoring the kids. I saw, was that CJ McCollum? No, it was Bill. I don't know why Bradley Bill was there in Jackson, but I saw some speech that he gave to the kids at JSU. So I just thought that was pretty dope, man. Shout out to Deion Sanders. And that's gotta be kind of a culture shock for him coming from the Dallas area or whatever and living in Jackson, Mississippi. And I never been to Mississippi and don't plan on going to Mississippi, but it's one of the quietest states in the union. And to go from anywhere in the Dallas area and to go live to move over to Jackson, that's got to be a step back in, like, I don't know. I just heard life in Mississippi in parts, especially in parts of Mississippi. I think Jackson is one of the more populated areas in the state, but that's got to be a change. I've heard the jokes about Mississippi, it being like time stopped there in the 50s or 60s or something. And you know what all that entails. But again, to be there, just seeing what's the transformation that's taking place in the program is something to see. So let me get on off of here, man. UCLA down 11-19 against Alabama. I don't have much to say about UCLA. Looking to see them and the two brothers that are actually on USC. I think that might be the last game of the night. Again, I didn't even pick a winner for this tournament. I'm just watching it, and I'm just rooting for Michigan. I really didn't have a lot of confidence in them tonight, but a great team game. It's got to be crazy for Juwan Howard to play again, or to coach against a guy who coached him in the NBA and Leonard Hamilton, and get the victory the way that he did. And that's just dope. So let me get on off of here, man. Appreciate everybody that checked in. Let me get up out of here and watch the rest of these games. Oh, by the way, I just put up the most recent episode of my podcast, It's Always Personal. You can find that on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. Anchor is another way to check it out. It was kind of a mixed bag of stuff that I was talking about on there. Check the description of it and see if it's something that you're interested in or not. But it's called It's Always Personal. You can find the links all over the place. Check that out for me. And like I always end all of the pay me no mind stuff, man. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.